Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei Arceus. Today we're going to be looking at the Block Wars Origins teams for Block Wars Origins 32. We're almost catching up in terms of the numbered events to MCC, which is quite an accomplishment because for those of you who are not aware, the first ever Block Wars was what we now know as Block Wars Origins, happening in I think November 2020, so it's been quite some time. The 5-year anniversary is coming up soon, I guess. Well, not that soon, but at the end of the year, so pretty interesting. Already at number 32 though. First of the year on February 1st. And yeah, also something that you may not know about yet if you're not someone who actively looks at Block Wars on Twitter and stuff like that. Origins has its own account now on both Blue Sky and on Twitter. I think it's just called the Block Wars Origins event, BWO Origins event. Should be the @ for both accounts. I don't really know if that is the case for the Blue Sky one because I don't use Blue Sky very often. But there is an Origins account separate from the main account now, as of this event, as of 2025, because we give people a bit more freedom when they have their own account. There are some, things that come into play, some factors that come into play with Origins being on the same account as main event that kind of restrict what Origins can and can't do. And since it's a community event, I think it's nice to give it a bit more spotlight, give it a bit more of its own identity, so you can have stuff like birthday posts or just a bit more attention on the players themselves, and I think that's good. I think that's nice. Obviously, there are downsides. Obviously, probably on average, the likes will be a little bit lower, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives of this change. Regardless, we're going to be looking at the teams, and also before we get into the teams, okay, because I have a question. I'm curious, with the new year, I want to get some insight, and maybe we can, make Origins bigger and better than it is right now, without taking away the main appeal, all right, before anyone thinks, oh my god, they're going to invite all the content creators. No, all right. I'm not the main guy that's involved with Origins. I can just give advice and get info. Questions go as follows. This is mainly about watching Origins, okay? First question, if you do watch Origins as of right now, if you're someone who regularly watches Origins events, what is the main thing that piques your interest when an Origins event, happens, or when teams get announced or whatever? Or more so, like, what are you looking forward to the most when Origins teams get announced, or what you want to see in Origins teams the most, and what do you look forward to the most during the event? What is the main thing that you find interesting during Origins? Because Origins has definitely grown a lot while main event has grown. I think before we split Block Wars, I think an average Block Wars pulled a couple hundred viewers at most, and I think Origins gets close to 1,000, I think, right now, which is very nice, of course. And I want to see if, what we could potentially do with Origins to make it even more appealing for some people, without obviously completely overthrowing the current base of Origins, because I think it is important to keep things intact, but it's also good to innovate and adapt to the modern, state of Minecraft events. And then secondly, if you don't currently watch Origins, what is keeping you from watching the event? What is not interesting about Origins? What do you not find interesting about Origins that makes you not want to watch the event? Out of curiosity, of course. In both cases, absolutely no judgment on whether you watch or not and what you like. Just curious. And also, bonus question for if you don't watch Origins, what makes you interested in other events that isn't in Origins? I think for the most part it's going to be the people that are in the event, because some of you probably like watching your favorite content creator play, and Origins isn't meant to be a content creator event necessarily, so or at least not a large scale one, so I can see that being a main factor, but maybe there's other reasons that could be improved or changed. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we're going to get into the teams right now. Starting off with the red team, Team QT. One thing I will say, okay, the reason why I don't cover Origins very often is because with the further development of Origins, the roster has become less and less familiar to me, where I will not really know people that are in the event either at all or not really know like how good they are, etc. That's kind of the case with this team, where like obviously I know Kel and I know Aint and I know Nitro. I know Kel is one of the best players. I'm pretty sure both Nitro and Aint have been improving as of recent. I am respectfully completely unaware of Demo and Catavena. I have no clue how good they are. They could be the bottom frags. They could be the second and third frag. I have no clue. I'm going to assume with the way this team is structured, one of them probably is like the third or fourth frag, and one of them is probably the bottom frag. Regardless, I don't know. I think it could be a solid team. I also have absolutely no idea what the vibe of this team is. But Colosseum, people like Colosseum, so Colosseum's playing, guys. That's, cool. Next up, Team Lethal, which I don't know if this is a Lethal Company themed. I have no clue what the name idea is behind this, but I think this is a fun team because you have some fun pairings together, and also kind of in a unique way because like Dakota and Kobe are more like pals oriented. Donut's obviously more lads oriented, but I think they'll work well together. Nons and Anna I think are kind of more in between. I think they might both be in both pals and lads. I don't really know, but oh, it is Lethal Company themed. I just saw the I just saw the icon on the bottom. So this is a Lethal Company themed team, and I think it'll be a fun one. I think this is good vibes, as long as I'm actually curious how the team will perform because I think Nons is like probably the top frag, but I haven't seen Nons play that often, so I don't know. Should be fun though. Next up, Team Rave, which has an amazing team announcement template. Of course, it looks spectacular, you could say. Where FaZe is actually a newcomer, which I think is very interesting. I assume that is like a new year, new approach to the event type of thing, because I don't think FaZe was someone I would have expected to be on the higher priority invites list, which, just to make it clear, doesn't mean I don't think FaZe should be in. I'm happy to see FaZe in. I think it's really cool, but with how Origins was going, it seemed to be a bit more, friend-oriented. And FaZe does know people in the event, but there's other higher skill players that I also know are on the quote-unquote waitlist, or not waitlist, but more so like the wish list on the player side of things. So should be interesting though. I think FaZe in the event is very cool. Should be nice in terms of a more unique POV. For the rest, I don't really know how good this team is because I assume FaZe is meant to be the top frag. I know FaZe is very good in terms of actual other Minecraft events, and this could be pretty strong team, or maybe not, because again, I don't really understand how good people are nowadays. Maybe these people are way better or way worse than I think. I have absolutely no idea, right? I'm just covering this because I think it's good to give Origins some extra attention from time to time. Next up, though, is a team I am familiar with. This is Team Skibbidy. Anyways, great icon. Where you get Sam and Marcus running it back as a duo for the second time, maybe third time, since at least they did Team Crime at some point, and then I don't know if they've teamed since, but should be a fun duo regardless. And then you have the rest of the team also being very fun, with Jack, Sleepy, and Vig. I think this should be a great squad altogether, and I think they're going to have a great time. I don't really think it matters how well they do. I think this is just a guaranteed fun POV, from what I know at least. And just to set the record straight, that could apply to all these teams that I might not know much about, but just in case you're, getting into a first Origins, this is a very safe POV in terms of vibes, I think. Personally, at least. Next up is Team Cluck, which has a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse duo of Epic and Toph. Toph is not beating the Mickey Mouse allegations, because what do you mean Toph, one of the best players, is getting Epic and Fitch as his second frag? That's ridiculous. Look, I understand it's probably the rest of the team being a little weaker that maybe adjusts for it. But still, looks crazy at least. Should be an interesting POV though. I think this should be pretty good vibes. I think this will be a bit of a goober team, a little silly goober team. But maybe not. I don't know. That's just Epic, No Name, Toph, Christy. At least I don't really know Airborne. This gives goober energy, so that's a goober team. There you go. Next up, Team Mutants, which is interestingly enough, a team where I do know everybody, but I could not tell you what the vibe of this team is. I have no clue. It should be a pretty interesting one though. Chug with Shadow is definitely scary, because Shadow I think is one of the strongest team managers, maybe team leaders, or however you want to call it, in Origins. One of the best strategists or whatever, right? In the event. And Chug I feel like is someone who, aside from PvP, definitely could benefit from some nice leadership. So I think this could be a pretty solid team. Liz, Nat, and Wilbert are also all not people I would classify as like bottom frags. I feel like they're all pretty solid. So that's honestly pretty promising for this team. Maybe, I don't know. Could be pretty damn good. I don't know. And then next up you got the Team Wasted, which The name kind of implies it, but this team should be pretty fun to watch as well. If you like chaos, I think you're going to get quite a lot of loud activity on this team. Also, very British team. So yes, there you go. Very interesting combo. People, Rice also making their debut to Origins. Rice is pretty cool. I met Rice for the first time in Rotterdam, and ever since I've seen them around way more, which probably just means that they were around anyways, but I just never noticed, and now I noticed. So there's Rice in Origins now. Rice should be a fun player. I think Rice actually is the second or third frag. It depends on if Obi locks in, because there is no race and there is order up. So maybe Rice will be the second frag. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Also, Reese, Nair's brother, coming in for a little second, guest appearance, which is very fun, of course. So yeah, very cool. And then finally, you have the pink team, Team Pokemon, which consists of Anthos, Chaos, Kyle, and Swift, which this definitely is going to be quite a team of all time. Because the comms on this team with Ant Frost, Chaos 21A, and Swifties is definitely going to be an experience, you could say, because they're all people that I think would be shot callers, but in different ways. It's like Ant shot calls very like actively and like XQC type comms where it's just like that. Swift will shot call very confidently and sometimes be very wrong, but sometimes be correct. And then Chaos will shot call and be trolling the entire team. So honestly, I'm curious how this team will do. Also, Kyle, very underrated player, I think, still in blockwars. Should be possibly the second frag on this team, honestly. And with Swift's very good performance in main event most recently, I think it should be interesting to see him in Origins. I think it won't make a major difference that he got 13th in main events, because realistically speaking, the main event is weaker comp than Origins by quite a bit, and also, well, usually at least, a weaker comp than Origins by quite a bit, and also the team that we had for main event was just kind of really good, so we'll see. And then Anthos, I think, yeah, Anthos actually being in Origins for the, third, fourth time. Last time that Anthos missed the main event was quite some time ago. I think it was blockwars Chaos, so should be fun to see him in Origins again for a bit of a change of pace. And yeah, also Swifties being the, I think, second ever player to play Origins and main event in the same cycle. The first one was Anthos, but that was a very interesting one, because I'm fairly sure that Anthos played the main event, and then the Origins got cancelled, but then he played in the Origins that was very soon after, so it's still the same cycle, so technically. So yeah, second person ever for Swift to play both events fully, at least, which is very interesting. Anyways, that's the teams for Origins. Let me know your thoughts on the teams themselves. And also, let me know your answers on these questions. You don't have to answer them if you don't want to, but I think it's interesting to gain some insights, because I feel like one thing that sometimes is lacking with events is transparency and proper, community engagement. And something that I think is important is to know what potentially is good and bad about certain things in an event, so you know what to change or what to improve. So let me know your thoughts. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all another time, and goodbye.